been Steph Curry with the shot, been cooking with the sauce, Chef Curry with the pot, boy.
Live from the 301, live from the pot. I want to welcome our audience to episode number 234 of Curry in the Pot. I'm your host, guy Mike Curry, and I'm back with another episode, man. Finally, man. Once you guys see this title, you already know what we're about to discuss, man. It's the best time of the year. I'm so excited, man. A lot of things been going on. A lot of things been going on, man. I've been doing full transparency before I introduce my guy. Full transparency, man. I started working hard since 7 p.m. tonight, man. Obviously, I had work, went to the gym. Now, 7 p.m., I load up a fantasy draft with my guy, Mark P., obviously the CEO of Antioch Consulting, a.k.a. PEO. And we did our fantasy draft, and the coach Jim and his team had that draft. Then at 8 p.m., simultaneously while that draft is going on, I had another fantasy draft going on. Shout out to my guy, Brandon White, who is the creator of the Pandemic League. This league started during COVID. I am a one-time champion in that league. Did that draft at 8 p.m. And then my guy, Lante, shout out my guy, Lante. He had a fantasy draft at 8:30 p.m. And I did that as well as the 8 p.m. one at the same time. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts, man. And obviously, we got Jack podcast going on, just a casual sports podcast going on right now. Episode 2 was just at the time of recording. Episode 2 will be out. Episode 2, part 2, because we did episode 2 last week.
I explained it on the episode.
Yeah, so we had some technical difficulties, but I had to tell my guy Bink, man, it's all trial and error, man. That's what happens, man. But speaking of Bink, he got to tell me about the show. But Bink, what's good, bro? Welcome back, man. Got to introduce you, man.
What's up, man?
Talk to me about Jack Podcast. Talk to me about the TikTok. Just talk to me about everything you got going on, man. I know the junior year started for you in college, so let's talk about it, man. Let's chat.
I just got a lot going on myself personally. I mean, you talk about, like, you told me to get into some internships. I got this internship with my school, MSU Creatives. I'm doing a lot of write-ups for their stuff. I'm actually doing the stats, like, with the NCAA. I'm stat keeping for the football game on Saturday, so I'm excited for that. But personally, I mean, my personal sports TikTok, that hit 2,200 followers today. Other than that, I started my own podcast, the Just a Casual Sports Podcast. It's me, and I got 6 of my other guys. You know, I think it'll be better since it's like more of a friendship camaraderie type podcast. Obviously, we're gonna be talking sports. Obviously, we're gonna be talking ball. You know, comments on that TikTok account is hilarious. You know, they've been talking about Cyrus all day. You either got Cyrus is a ball knower, or Cyrus doesn't know ball. I mean, y'all get to know Cyrus too. I'll invite y'all over to my show. You know, we just here to have a good time and grow my brand.
Sure, man. For sure. Yes. Just a Casual Podcast. Yours truly is a part of it. Truly honored to be a part of it, man. When Bink first mentioned the idea, I said, "Can I be on it?" I said, I don't gotta be on it all the time. But I said, "Can I be on it?" And he said, "Absolutely." So I was on episode 1. The second episode that didn't release, man, we had a lot of back and forth banter. I wish you guys could have seen that. It was basically me and Kenny versus Aiden and Bink. That was the gist of it, man. But we had a great time recording that. Even though it didn't come out, it's just a good time being around these guys, man. Because I always tell you guys, man, I'm real big on, you know, the future and the next generation. And I'm really pushing Bink to be better than me. But he not there yet. But he going to be better than me. He going to be better than me, man. He already killing it on the TikTok, man. Had a video that he did last week that did 200,000 views. But enough about all that jibber jabber, man. You guys can go check us out. You guys go check us out on Jack Podcast. You guys can check me out here, obviously, man. But we're all over, man. Content. Shout out to my guy Mark P. For his new show, Media with Marcus. That's gonna do numbers as well, man. But Bink, let's get right into it, man. NFL season preview. This is the 2025 NFL season preview. Can't believe we're here. A lot of moving parts. I'm going to start with you, man. Go and give me your division winners in the NFC.
In the NFC, my division winners, I'm going to start, obviously, you know, North, East, South, West. That's how we learn our directions on the compass. So with the NFC North, you know how much this hurts to say. Not even just having a Green Bay Packers winning the NFC North, but it's probably because of their new addition of Micah Parsons, man. Where's the hold on? This is I know this is a little unprofessional, but give me
Uh,
1 second. Where is it at? It's right here. My boy 11 from heaven is gone. Like, I don't think you understand how bad this feels to know he's going to be wearing green and gold this season. But I had the Packers winning before the Micah Parsons trade. I think I want to say that too. I think Jordan Love, we all know that's my guy to Utah State. I've been stamping him since, on Curry in the pot since that draft. And I just I feel like they have the best quarterback in the division. I feel like you can argue they definitely have a Man, that division is tough when it comes to head coaches. I can't even say they definitely have a top two coaching division, but Matt LaFleur is another one of Bink's guys. They got Josh Jacobs in that backfield. And I really feel like now that offense became steady. It was kind of just like Jordan Love, do something. If not, I mean, we could hand the ball off to Aaron Jones, but he's not going to give us the same production Josh Jacobs is going to get. And now on defense, well, that's not even all for the offense. You added Matthew Golden, who's one of the best receivers in the draft, a top 10 player on my board. Now on defense, you fix your biggest need and get a top shelf pass rusher in Micah Parsons to rush alongside Rashawn Gary. And then you still have Devontae Wyatt in the interior. Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, who I noted as a sleeper 2 years ago, he's coming into his own. I'm not going to say all pro season, but I think it's going to be a really good season from Edgerrin Cooper. And yeah, you could say they don't have a number one corner with the loss of Jair Alexander, but they played majority of last season without Jair. So I'm not really that scared about that. And then you have Xavier McKinney on the back end. NFC East, well, you want me to go through the full thing, right?
Actually, we can start each division by division. So you can stick with the NFC North. I feel like that's a
Okay.
good way to continue.
Okay, so in second place, I do have the Minnesota Vikings. I really wish we got the episode 2 out, bro, because we had a good discussion about the Vikings as well. But I really like Minnesota. I think coaching reigns supreme more than all. I think Kevin O'Connell's the best coach in this division. I mean, the man, he's won coach of the year twice now or just once
I
in his
think
short
one.
tenure with Minnesota. He came close the first time then.
Hmm.
I think he might have been my pick the first time as well. But you got the best receiver in the football and Justin Jefferson there. Jordan Addison's there, although he's suspended for the first 3 games. TJ Hawkinson, they retooled the offensive line. Now have Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in the backfield. And with Kevin O'Connell's a play caller, you make it hard for JJ McCarthy to fail in that system. That's how I feel like it is. That's how I feel like it was for him in Michigan. I think if they're going to make life easy for him, obviously I know Sam Darnold had a bunch of production last year. But how much of the production is Sam Darnold? How much is it the coaching? I think it's more so the coaching. And then defensively, not gonna say it don't matter what you got out there. Obviously, they don't have a top shelf pass rusher, but Jonathan Bernard came into his own last year. Van Ginkel is one of my guys. In the interior, you added Jonathan Allen. You added they got rid of Harrison Phillips. I can't remember the name right now, but it's all coached by Brian Flores, who we know is one of the most creative defensive play calls in the NFL. I think the Vikings are a playoff team for sure. I have Detroit at third just because I think the brain drain is a lot, if we're being honest. Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn gone. We've seen this with Philly a few years ago. Not saying their downfall will be as bad as Philly's was 2 years ago, but it's like you're losing so much in that building that I understand. Obviously, you're getting all your defense talent back. That's not even all your losses. You lost your center Frank Ragnar's retirement. You lost your left guard Kevin Zietler. It's a lot of losses in that building, especially on the offensive side. And we know how Jared Goff is under pressure. Not saying he's going to get pressured a lot this year, but you got a rookie and a second year player starting on the offensive line. I think it's just going to be a little bit tough for them. So I think they're going to be a winning team. I will say that. And in the last place, I got the Bears. There's no disrespect to the Bears, but even from them to get to from 5 wins to 8 wins, that's a drastic improvement from last year, in my opinion, especially in this tough division, which is the NFC North.
For sure. Actually, this is what I want to do here. We're gonna go division by division together. So because I know we had disagreement on this one. So for me, I do agree with Bink. I do have the Packers winning the NFC North. I would like to also say I don't want to say I definitively had them, but I was teetering on picking them when Bink asked everybody that's part of Jack Podcast to pick the division winners. And I was like, is it wild to pick the Packers? And I'm like, no, it ain't wild. I like the Packers, man. Don't want to echo everything Bink said, but I do like Jordan Love. Dude has a rocket of an arm, and he's been, able to play with some control. And he was also banged up early last season. I know he hurt his. I think he hurt something on his non-throwing hand this year, but he'll be just fine. I think Matthew Golden. I like that draft pick. This is the first pick that the Packers, first time in 22 years that the Packers have selected a wide receiver in the first round, and they make Matthew Golden a selection. That speaks volumes He was great at Texas. He was absolutely remarkable. And I think he's a perfect complement to all the other guys out there because they gave these guys an opportunity to show who they are, to show, I'm number one. I'm the X. They gave all those guys a shot. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks. Gave all those guys, Romeo Dobbs. They gave all those guys, a shot to show that they're, the man at wide receiver. Obviously, I think Matthew Golden is going to come in and just truly show why he is the man. And I think it's going to be great for Jordan Love just because he never really had that, great receiver, good receiver. He never had that. We know what we're going to get from the run game, Josh Jacobs. You know what you're going to get from a Matt LaFleur offense. A team that likes to run the football, control clock, and also hit you with some play action and stuff like that. And then, obviously, Micah Parsons, the big acquisition. You can argue he's the best player in all of pro football. I don't even have to say too much. The rest of the defense will be just fine. It makes everybody around him better. It elevates the whole team. We have a guy who can, command double teams and even an occasional triple team. He just commands so much of attention that he can just wreck an entire game. So I love that. And obviously Rashawn Gary is a good pass rusher as well. Second place. This is where me and Bink finally disagree. I got the Chicago Bears second place in this division. I truly believe that Ben Johnson, being the offensive mastermind, obviously the head coach, but being the mastermind, I think him and Caleb Williams is a perfect match. And Bink even made a TikTok about it way back when, before, right when Ben Johnson got hired, and how him and Caleb Williams is a good marriage, and how he believed that he saw some things in that Lions Thanksgiving game to say, yeah, I think I want that job if it's available. I think this is a good marriage. I love what they did in the draft.
I do want to say something now.
Go ahead.
Because even with them being a good offensive marriage, you're still relying much on Deo Oye. I cannot pronounce that man's name. Deo Oyengbo from the Colts and Montez Sweat off the edge. And I'm just like, I don't know, just Jalen Johnson in the secondary. And the defense scares me a little bit too. I don't think the defense is top of the line, but you could keep going.
Yeah, no, I do have some concerns for sure. I think if it could just be solid, they'll be fine though. But yeah, I love the offense. They went out and drafted Colston Loveland out of Michigan, number 10 overall. I think when you draft a tight end that high, that speaks volume as well. Kind of echoing my sentiments that I just mentioned on Matthew Golden. You go out and draft a tight end that early, oh, he's going to play. And you think he's going to be a star. You think you're going to get a great return on your investment very early. And, we kind of saw something similar for Brock Bowers, who got drafted high as a tight end last year. And look what he did. Not saying Colston Loveland's going to be that. You still have Cole Kmet in that room. But I think Colston Loveland, I think he's going to be one of them ones, bro. He got some Travis Kelce to him, like just the way he moves on the field. I really like him, man. He's a tight end that could win without being schemed up. Obviously you got DJ Moore still there. You got Rome Odunze. I'm looking for him to have a good sophomore year. Drafted Luther Burden, who I thought was a really good player.
Switches number 3 times.
Switches number 3 times. But I thought Luther Burden was a very fine player coming out of Missouri. Now he's matched up with Caleb Williams. I think it's really all on Caleb, I truly want to say that. He was the number 1 pick drafted last year, number 1 player overall drafted. And you saw a lot of guys have early success last year, a la Jaden Daniels, a la Bo Nix. Drake May even showed a lot to me. Caleb Williams wasn't bad, but he wasn't, first overall pick. It was like a Trevor Lawrence type of, vibe from him. So these guys, he got to show it. I'm still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to show it too. Third place, I got the Detroit Lions. Spoiler alert, I do have those top 3 teams making the playoffs. I do have the Detroit Lions. I think this team is just too talented to not be in the mix of making the playoffs. I know they lost, both coordinators. I know they lost Frank Ragnow, but they are getting Aiden Hutchinson back. Obviously, they had Terry Arnold in the secondary. Brian Branch, Bink's guy, back there in the secondary as well. They have some good pieces, man. Kirby Joseph, who I'm not really a fan of, but he's a good player. And the team is good, man. Team is too. I think it's just too talented, bro. Like something catastrophic has to happen for this team to fall off. And then lastly, if I'm going to elevate the Bears that high, somebody has to drop. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings this year. Bink did mention some of the acquisitions. Guys like Jonathan Allen, who came over from the Commanders. I love Kevin O'Connell. Everybody knows that. And I have this deep love for coordinators and play callers and QB coaches that were a part of the Commanders slash Redskins slash Washington football team organization. But I'm just my major knock is going to be on JJ McCarthy. I thought he was overdrafted. I thought he wasn't that good in college. Can he prove me wrong? Absolutely. But I'm just not seeing it for him, bro. I'm just not, man. I think the Vikings definitely overachieved last year. And it's crazy to say that I'm picking a team that won 14 games last year to be last place in their division. But I don't know. But I think last place in this division is still going to win 8 games. So I'll say that. Any other thoughts on the NFC North?
Yep, nope.
All right, let's go NFC South. Your camera looks kind of blurry. I don't know what it is. It might just be me, but let's go NFC South, man. This is a division where we have I think we have the same division.
Correct. The same exact order.
We have the same exact order. So let's start with you, man. Let's talk about our order. We got some agreement, guys. Me and Bink rarely agree on everything. Me and Bink disagree all the time, and I'm talking off camera. We disagree about a lot of things, man, but that makes for good stuff. And that's he's the annoying little brother I never had. But we don't agree on everything. But we agreed on this exact order.
I'm gonna go with the Saints at last. I know I'm gonna let you talk about that more than I'm gonna talk about that, so I'm gonna leave it at that. In third place, I got the Atlanta Falcons. It just comes to a point where it's like we still I understand they got James Pierce Jr., they got Jalen Walker, and Atlanta fans are pissed at me. They've been pissed at me ever since their draft when I said I didn't like it. But it's just like this is who we relying on to rush off the edge consistently. 2 rookies in their first year, and you could even see a guy like Dallas Turner in the first round who went to Minnesota last year. Found a great scheme for him. Was on the field a lot. Did not produce that much. It's not like these guys are just going to come to the NFL and be instant producers. We don't know. Jalen Walker wasn't even the full-time edge at Georgia, and now he's going to have to be that in the NFL. But the offense should be good. Offense should be good. I'm just very worrisome about the defense. I think Penix is an upgrade over Kirk Cousins. I think Bijan is going to have an offensive player of the year this year. I think Drake London is a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And I like the offensive line, but it does scare me a little bit. They lost Caleb McGarry for the season. That is their right tackle. And since Michael Penix is left-handed, that is their blindside protector. So that does scare me a little bit. In second place, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're due for a little bit of a regression. I mean, they've won what? They last 3 years has been 8, 10, and 9. It's not like they've had like these great seasons in the past anyway, but it's just like you already have injuries with Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan. Tristan Wirfs is already out for the first couple of weeks of the season. Defensively, you added Hassan Reddick, but other than that, they didn't have many additions this offseason outside of the draft. And I do like a saying, if you don't get better, you got worse. I'm not the biggest Todd Bowles fan, just never been. And this is the third offensive coordinator in 3 years. Is he going to hit the nail on the head 3 times in a row? I just don't know.
Quick question. Before you go to first place, how we feel about the Falcons week 1 against the Buccaneers? I just talked about this on Media with Marcus with P and Rome, but I'm leaning Falcons week 1, and the Falcons are at home. They're at the crib, man.
The Falcons did beat the Buccaneers twice last year too.
Yeah, so that we did have that, but it showed to me. I think that is a big game for the Falcons. It's a bigger game because people also forget the Falcons started off really good and they kind of fell off a cliff. Kirk Cousins got banged up. Had a couple of weeks where he didn't throw a touchdown pass. Had a couple of weeks where he had multiple interceptions. So the Falcons, I think they lost that division last year. More so than the Buccaneers. Yeah, they kind of fell off. I know the Buccaneers ran the table at the end, but the Falcons were in the lead, and they just fell off.
I do think that. I just think Tampa's going to get whatever they want on offense, even with the cluster injuries at receiver. I mean, we're still talking Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka, Bucky Irvin in that backfield. They both have injuries to their blindside protectors, and if there's any pass rush that I still see getting home, it's Tampa's. I still lean Tampa.
For sure. Just wanted to hear what your thoughts were. You can go ahead and tell us why you have Carolina Panthers first place. Let's hear it.
You know what's crazy? I walked into my internship office today, and the first question somebody asked me was, "You really got the Panthers in first place in the NFC South?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, no, hi, hello, like, how are you?" That was literally the first question I got asked today, so I found that to
Sounds
be a
like they
little
was
funny.
taking
But yeah,
disgusted.
I do have the Panthers in first place. I love how the way they ended the season last year. We talk about Bryce Young throwing the ball all across the field. Even last year it was to Adam Thielen and Jalen Coker and Xavier Leggett. Oh, now you had Tederick McMillan, one of the best receivers in the draft there. Now on defense, oh, you couldn't stop the run. Now you had Derek Brown back. And you also added Deshaun Wharton and Bobby Brown through free agency. So it's like you have the pieces now. You added Trayvon Merrick on the back end. You hope JC Horn full healthy year. And if this is the case, them with a play schedule, winning around 9, 10 games and winning this division because why not? I mean, this is a team that took Philly and Kansas City, both the Super Bowl teams, to the brink last year. Took them to the last
Right
possession
there.
on each of those teams. So it's like, yeah, I understand it. It might be a little disconnect because people are like Carolina, they've been bad for a minute. How do you expect them to be good this fast? It's not really that. It's just that I don't trust anybody in this division, to be honest. I don't trust no team in this division. And if you ask me what I'm going to trust the most, it's the connection between Dave Canales and Bryce Young because I really truly think they struck gold.
Yeah. Nah, I agree, man. I don't really want to be long winded about this division. Like I said already, I have the same exact order. I just think the Panthers, like you said, very compelling reasons to why they should be first. They show. We're banking on them to show me for a full season what they showed last year. Um, and yeah, Buccaneers. I think they're just due for a little bit of regression. And that regression could mean still be in the hunt for the playoffs, but they got to take a step back at some point. Like, is last year's Baker Mayfield really Baker? Is that really Baker Mayfield? I don't know. I if we go because that's an anomaly if you look at the rest of his career. Now, obviously, we know certain circumstances. Brown's bad organization. Obviously, they haven't really done much. But he was on the Rams for a quick stint. He was on the Panthers. Like Baker Mayfield has bounced around the league for a guy that was drafted first overall. So I'm kind of expecting some regression overall from the Buccaneers. Third place, Atlanta. I think they're about maybe another year away from truly like. I really want to see what Penix does, but I think they're like another year from maybe winning this division. But I got to see it. And then last but no, I can't even say last but not least. Last but the very least, the New Orleans Saints. I don't I don't even know where to start. Okay, cool. We'll start with the quarterback that they drafted in this April's draft could not beat out Spencer Rattler, a fifth round pick from a couple of years ago. Hey, I don't hate Spencer Rattler. He lost his job to Caleb Williams for crying out loud. That's not a bad thing. Um, it's not a bad thing. Especially if we talk about Caleb Williams in college. It's not a bad thing. But this guy, he's just not it. He's just not it. I be fake hoping, because my guy Chase Young, shout out to my guy CY, man. Be rooting for them because of him. But I'm just not seeing it I'm not seeing I really think it's quarterback. Because I don't think their defense is bad. They still have some talent on defense. Chase Young, um, Cam Jordan, who's obviously up there in age. Demario Davis, another guy who's older. But they got Justin Reed at safety. They drafted
Monte
Kool-Aid
Taylor.
McKinstry last year. You got Alontae Taylor, who had a solid year last year. Like their team is solid. I just think that this team is true. They truly need a franchise quarterback, and you see what happens when the Commanders, they went out and got a franchise quarterback. The Patriots, they went out and got Drake May. Okay, now let's build around him. We believe in this guy. They need to go get a quarterback. I know it's way easier said than done. Way, way easier said than done. But the Saints, they got to at least show me that they're willing to take a quarterback high. Who's the last quarterback the Saints drafted high?
I don't I actually think that was one thing about their organization. I don't think they draft quarterbacks high.
Yeah, so I think you kind of got to get with the times and at least try, but I just don't know. I mean, shoot, I thought they were going to take Lamar Jackson the year they took Marcus Davenport, but that's another story. This team is not going to be good. I said it on Jack Podcast. I said this team.
Their last first round quarterback was Archie Manning in 1971.
That's my whole freaking point. And you got to get with the times. And I wouldn't be ready to go draft Archman in next year if he comes out after what I just
Talked
saw.
about him a little bit today on the pod.
But yeah, Saints are gonna be bad. I said last week, I said it's gonna be a miracle if they win 5 games, a successful season if they win 4. I truly believe that. I'm just not seeing it. We even went game by game last week on the unreleased pod, and we were struggling to find the Saints wins, honestly, bro. We were struggling really, really hard. So like I said, miracle if they win 5. Moving on to NFC East. Bing, I'm gonna start with you again. I'm gonna just let you keep going, man.
For the first time in my lifetime, I think there will be a back-to-back division champion, that being the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want to talk much about them because it's against my religion. In second place, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Oh man, I know I'm gonna have to defend this one. I know Omatic watching or listening, like, what is Bink about to say? How is he about to justify them being over the Commanders? And I'm gonna say this one thing. I still think the Cowboys pass rush is gonna be solid. And at the end of the day, that's all you could ask for, especially losing Micah Parsons. Do I think it's gonna be top 5, arguably, like it was the previous years? No, but I still think you could hover around top 15 ish. And if the defense can hover around the top 20 to 23 range, which I think it can be, I don't think this is the worst unit in football by far. I mean, you still got talent all around. You talk about Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Osa Digazua, and Kenny Clark in the middle. Now you got Dante Fowler off the edge, the new addition Donovan Ezeraku, Marshawn Nealon. And then eventually when DeMarvion Overshown comes back, that's a linebacker now. I mean, you have linebackers right now when we talk about Jack Sanborn and Maris Leofow, but like, who knows those guys? There's a reason you don't know who I'm talking about. But if the defense can be all right, this offense can definitely be a top 10 unit in the league. We see this every time when Dak Prescott's here. There's always a top 5 passing offense in the league. And now you add George Pickens to that. That is a yin to CeeDee Lamb's yang. That is the 1-2 punch that they've been desperately looking for. They tried it with Brandon Cooks. They done tried it with T.Y. Hilton even. They got a bunch of guys to try to be the number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. And now I think we finally got the one. So that's why the
Cowboys. Cooper.
Yeah. And that's why I have the Cowboys at 2. I think tomorrow, not tomorrow. Well, I guess tomorrow when you're seeing this, tomorrow they can hang 30 points up on the Eagles. And I don't think anybody would be shocked. Now, they might hang up 30 and still lose by 20 because that's how bad the defense is, but you never know with the Cowboys. You already know it's going to be probably going to be a close game on opening night because that's just the Cowboys' way of doing things. In third place, I have the Commanders. Spoiler alert, I have all 3 of these teams making the playoffs. I think Jaden Daniels is one of those quarterbacks now. Like, I think when you get into like the top 6, top 7 quarterbacks, if one of them missed the playoffs, it's something wrong with the team and not wrong with them. And I think he's into that upper echelon now. I don't think there's a way this team misses the playoffs because I think Dan Quinn, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the defense, I know we had this argument on the pod that never came out. We keep referencing it, but I'm not the biggest fan of this defense, but I'm a fan of Dan Quinn at the end of the day, and I think he's going to get pressure with this front 4, even though their best pass rusher is Dorrance Armstrong. That's truly how I feel, and I think in the back end, they have a good corner room, but can they cover for, 5-6 seconds when nobody's getting pressure? That's what I'm scared about for them, and also, I'm not scared about the run game. I know they lost Brian Robinson. Well, they traded Brian Robinson. I know they got Bill Krosky-Marriott back there, but Jaden Daniels does so much to your run game and elevates your run game so much that I'm not scared about that either. And last place, I have the New York Giants. I like the Giants. I think they're going to be a competitive bunch. They have the hardest schedule in the NFL, and it's like by far like the hardest schedule in the NFL. They play the NFC North, like the rest of the division, the AFC West, and then you also got to play the rest of the NFC East teams. It's not like you're getting a break with any of them. So it's just like while I think this team is going to be better, I think everybody's going to acknowledge that the team is good. I think they have a defensive player of the year caliber player in Dexter Lawrence on that defense. They had drafted Abdul Carter. Now they got Russell Wilson throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors now. It's just something a little off. I don't think they're going to be able to put it all together this year.
Yeah, I'm almost there with you. I have top and bottom teams. The Eagles, they're just a well-oiled machine, and I just think they're more talented than everybody in the division. And not only just that, but I think they have what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? What's like a synonym for chemistry?
Continuity.
Continuity, thank you. I just think they have the best continuity. They're returning like most of their team. I think they. I
You
think
saw
they're.
Sirianni said today?
Nah, what did he say?
He said they're not going to be out there for the banner raising because they're too locked in.
I did. Pete did mention that to me on media with Marcus. I didn't know the reason why. I just knew that they weren't going to be out for the banner.
He said last year's Super Bowl is already behind them. They're on to this year. But I'm like, bro, you don't win a Super Bowl every year. Let the guys enjoy the moment.
Facts. But yeah, I think the Eagles they have the most continuity. I'm not the biggest Jalen Hurts guy, but I think he's good for that team. If that makes sense, the team works well together. I don't think that Saquon Barkley will have the year he had last year, but I still think he'll be good. I think for this team, they're just all concerned about winning games and staying healthy. I don't think they're really into amazing stats. Second place, I got the Commanders. I do not think they'll be a 12-win team. What'd you say?
The Eagles not even in celebrating their championship.
Yeah, I guess they really are locked in. But second place, I got the Commanders. I don't think they'll be a 12-5 team, but I do think they could be an 11-6 or 10-7 mob. This team is another team that they overachieved last year, but I do still think that they're still good. I think what they have is very sustainable. You got Terry McLaurin, who just signed a big extension. You bring in Deebo Samuel, and I think you will get the best version of him because you kind of have to get the best version of him, considering he's in the last year of his deal. You bring in Laramie Tunsil to protect Jaden Daniels' blind side, and you draft Josh Connerly, and you move Brandon Coleman, who I thought did a really solid job at left tackle last year. You slide him over to left guard, and like I said, Josh Connerly, we'll see him at right tackle at some point. I don't know if he's starting the year at right tackle, but you will see him there at some point. I think that is a good pick. And it shows me that, hey, you're investing into your quarterback. You're invested in this offensive line. Defense, I do have some concerns like Bink, but I do think that, they've got creative in ways that they can get to the quarterback. I think Frankie Lulu had a solid year at getting sacks. He's an absolute baller. And as a good contributor, Bobby Wagner, still one of the best tackling linebackers in all of pro football. Secondary, I'm really ecstatic about Trey Amos. I think he could wind up being the best corner in that cornerback room. And I think you'll see a better version of Marshawn Lattimore, who came over already injured, nursing a hamstring injury, and looks like he re-aggravated that hamstring injury at the later part of the year. I think be better. He has to bounce back as well too. I really just believe in the coaching staff, and I more so just believe in Jaden Daniels. He's just that amazing. I'm sorry, I know that was glazed, but yeah, I got the Commanders second place, Cowboys third place. If you would have asked me this on Friday, I would have said Cowboys in last place, but I slept on it, changed my mind. I think this team is good enough talent-wise to still be a team that can contend for a wild card spot. Dak Prescott, still a good quarterback, still top 10 in my book. CeeDee Lamb, you can argue he's the second best receiver, third best receiver, at very worst in pro football.
Kenny had him winning Offensive Player of the Year.
CeeDee, I could see it. I don't know, I could see that. Then you got George Pickens, as Bink mentioned, great compliment to CeeDee. And then, defense is still sound. Like, do they have this amazing pass rusher and one of the best players on all pro football, Michael Parsons? No. But as Bink mentioned, they had the Commanders leader in sacks last year, Dante Fowler. They got him back in Dallas. They got Donovan Azaraku, a guy who I liked coming into the draft, coming out of Boston College. He should be solid. Like, he should be able to contribute. They re-signed Osa, gave him the big deal. Got Kenny Clark. I think that's still a formidable D-line. Linebacking core I'm not high on, but in the back end, as Bink mentioned, you got Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland. A couple of years ago, these guys were getting interceptions every week. Not in the same year, but in different years, they were getting interceptions every week.
They barely played together.
Yeah, and the two of them, that tandem has barely played together. So Cowboys will still be good. They'll still be an interesting team. That's just the nature of the Cowboys. A team that will always be in the mix, but a team that will ultimately fail. And then last place, I got the Giants. The defensive line. I'm gonna just say it right now. Defensive line is sexy. That D line is nice, man. You got Dexter Lawrence, the best interior defensive lineman in pro football. They drafted Abdul Carter, stud out of Penn State. Still got Kayvon Thibodeau, a guy I'm not that high on. And he got Brian Burns as well. The back end signed Javon Holland over from the Miami Dolphins. Paulson Adebo from the Saints. Also got Deontay Banks, who they drafted a couple of years ago out of Maryland. Defense should be sound. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors, I think he's going to be one of them ones. I think he's going to build upon that good rookie season that he had. Russell Wilson, say what you want, still can throw the deep ball. I think he'll be solid. But the Giants, their schedule is just extremely tough. I think you will see improvements from the Giants, but those improvements won't necessarily reflect in the wins and loss columns. So I got them finishing last, and they're just in a tough division. Last division in the NFC, NFC West. This is a good division. I like the Rams. I'm going to start with this, Bink. I like the Rams to win this division. Matthew Stafford is going to play week 1. I don't know how healthy he is, but clearly healthy enough to go. You said they cloned him? You got Devontae Adams, newly acquired this offseason. Still one of the best wide receivers in all of pro football. I don't care what anyone says. And you pair that with Puka Nacua. This is the best wide receiver tandem in all of pro football, and I don't think it's that close. I think it's kind of close, but not really. You got Kyron Williams, who just got paid this offseason. You got the D-line and Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. Those guys were really good last year, very early in their career, showed some promise. They got my guy Sean McVay, excellent head coach. Former offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, my guy. Second place, I've been going back and forth between 49ers and Seahawks, but I'm going to go with 49ers. I just think this team needs to be healthy. Do have some question marks about the defense besides Fred Warner and Lenore, Nick Bosa, of course. It's still valuable to have a good player at every portion of your defense. You got a good D lineman, good linebacker, got a good corner. So that's still cool. Everybody else just has to kind of step in and do their role. Seahawks, I really like their defense. Iffy about Sam Darnold, iffy about the receiving core outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba. But I do love that defense. Defense is a baller defense. Pretty baller defense. And last, I got the Cardinals. This is another team that has a pretty baller defense. Defense is really good. This team can go as far as Kyler Murray takes them because he just hasn't seemed to get out of his own way. I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. have a bounce back year. This team has just kind of been the same type of team for years. Like, even when they didn't have Marvin Harrison Jr., they had DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler. Just kind of like the same type of team. But I do like their defense. Bink mentioned to me last week, Will Johnson. They drafted Josh Sweat, rejoining Jonathan Gannon. I think they'll be a very competitive team, though. They kind of been that way under Jonathan Gannon. What'd you say?
Buda Baker as well.
Yeah, Buda Baker too. But yeah, they kind of been that competitive bunch under Jonathan Gannon, kind of scrappy team. Just don't really have enough, and I think that enough has been Kyler Murray. Bink, what you got?
I'm not going to take too much time here. I have the Rams in first place. I think they're the obvious first place team here. Second place, I have San Fran as well. I think as long as they're healthy, they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot. Now, will they get that wild card spot is the question. I honestly think Brock Purdy is slightly underrated in this league. I'm not going to lie. Especially with the conversation I was having with Aiden on last pod's episode that never came out about him versus Sam Darnold. I think Brock Purdy clears Sam Darnold, if we're being honest. In third place, I have Arizona over Seattle, frankly, because I don't trust anything going on in Seattle. I trust their defense, I trust their head coach, but their head coach is a defensive head coach. Then you add that on the fact with Clint Kubiak, what he did in New Orleans, especially those first 2 weeks, a lot that was working was a lot of stuff down the field with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Oh, now it's JSN. That's cool. Then on the other side, you got Cooper Kupp. That man couldn't separate for anything last year. So I don't understand how he's going to separate this year. And now you're not throwing, even though, like, I'm not going to act like Jawan Johnson's, like, the biggest threat at tight end. Now that's rookie Elijah Arroyo. We already know how long rookie tight ends take to, like, develop and finally get into their own in the league outside of Brock Bowers. But, like, that's my whole problem with Seattle. I trust their defense. I just don't know about their offense. Like, at least for Arizona, I know I'm going to get 6 good weeks out of Kyler Murray before Call of Duty comes out and he starts slumming. But, like, Seattle, I don't know what I'm going to get with their offense.
No, that's real. We could hop over to AFC. We probably move through this a little quicker. NFC, we just love it, bro. That's our side of the country, bro. We just love it. Obviously,
I think the NFC is tougher than the AFC this year. I can't even lie, especially tougher to predict.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's go to the AFC North, man. Like we did before, North, South, East, West. I'm gonna start with me. I have the Ravens winning this division. You already said this, man. Super Bowl or bust for the Ravens. I think they're light years.
You know what's funny before you go deep into this? Every time I say something like that, like I said that about that in the TikTok on my personal page, and obviously I posted it on the Jack page. The comments always say, "So is it the same thing for the Bills too?" Yes, it's the same thing about Buffalo, but why do y'all care so much about Buffalo? That's not even a team y'all can't beat. Y'all can't beat Kansas City.
Nah, facts. But I agree with that statement. It is championship or bust for the Bills. We've been saying that for a minute though. Been saying that about them. But yeah, I want to for the AFC North, man. I like the Ravens to win this division. I think they'll win it pretty easily. They're the best team by far. Have the best quarterback in the division. Even though Joe Burrow's excellent, but they have the best roster. Would you say?
Have the best defense, have the best head coach.
Best defense, best head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach at that. Just a good roster, man. We talked about it last week. Their biggest weakness might be receiver, but when have the Ravens ever had a really nice receiving core? Never really. Mm-hmm. Like they've always had a group of guys who just work well together and do enough to win. I mean, they're a run first offense, so those guys just kind of got to fill in and do their job. Second place, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm higher than most on the Steelers. I think this is their last hurrah for guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Darius Slay. Jalen Ramsey's also getting up. Actually, he's not even that old. I'm 30, so he's 30 as well. Let me be quiet. I'm calling myself old. But Aaron Rodgers definitely last hurrah for you. Darius Slay, I think he's 35.
Cam Hayward getting up there.
Yeah. This team, they don't want to let each other down. I watched Jalen Ramsey's interview with the Pivot podcast, and they said they just don't want to let each other down. I like this. I always like Mike Tomlin, and I've been wanting to be low on the Steelers, but I just can't this time around. DK Metcalf, a little concerned about him. Maybe he'll finally flip a switch. I don't know. But at this point, you are who you are at some point. I do like Calvin Austin III, the little guy. I like him. They have an abundance of tight ends. This team, they're not going to try to put too much on Aaron Rodgers' plate. They're going to kind of, I think they're going to be a ball control team, but they're going to rely on their defense. And you got Jalen Ramsey, who said he's the best defensive back. So I think you're going to see Jalen Ramsey. Actually, I don't think. You will see Jalen Ramsey lined up all over the secondary. He'll be on the outside. He'll be in the slot. He'll be at safety. He'll be all over the place. I really believe in Aaron Rodgers, though. For what it's worth, Aaron Rodgers wasn't even bad last year. But I think people's hesitancy is the receiving core, and I understand that. But I know they do like Roman Wilson. If DK Metcalf can just be good enough, I think the Steelers will be fine, and they'll put them in position to get a wild card spot. Bengals third, defense is just terrible. They did not get better at all. They damn near got worse if they didn't get something done with Trey Hendrickson. They drafted Shamar Stewart, but other than that, I don't have any nice things to say about the Bengals defense. Love Joe Burrow. I think he's amazing. Love Jamar Chase. I think he's amazing. I think you can argue he's the best receiver in pro football. T. Higgins is cool. He's good. Chase Brown, I like. He's on a multiple of my fantasy teams. But the defense is so bad, bro. It's just absolutely terrible, bro. Like, this team is literally – and you can say this for a lot of teams, but they're they're a key injury away from one of those guys that I just mentioned on offense to like really sucking, like really being terrible, like and then last, but they are the least, the Browns, bad team, not a good team at all. I'm not even about to continue to waste my breath. Shout out Myles Garrett though.
Yeah, you know that meme of a car? Like it's like that sports car, like on that like house. It's like in that little garage. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah, you talking about the it's a Bugatti and like
Yeah,
a rundown house, yeah.
yeah, that's Miles Garrett on the Browns, and that's why they're going to be in fourth place. In third place, I have the Steelers. I get what Mike say about them not wanting to let each other down. I just don't see it. Like Arthur Smith is not like this pass first guy. Now you're getting Aaron Rodgers. I just feel like it's a conflict of interest, especially when your only notable receiver is DK Metcalf. Like we could talk about Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson all we want, but we know it's gonna be a lot of 12 personnel between Fryer Move, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. The running backs, it seems like Caleb Johnson starting out in the doghouse if you look at the unofficial depth chart, but that's another
I
story for
did
another
peep that.
that's another story for another day. The defense, it's just old. I don't know. It's just very, very old and senile. Um
I like that
in
word.
second place I do in second place I do have the Bengals. They're the Bengals. I don't know. I don't see much that changed from them from last year. You know what I love to say? If you don't get better, you get worse. So it's like, why don't I have the Steelers over them? I don't know, man. I truly don't know. I just feel like all these teams are a step below the Ravens. I can't say anything else. The Ravens are going to win this division easily.
Yeah, I feel nah. The Ravens, they bro. The Ravens can mess around and still win this job.
I have them going 11-6. Like, because I think that's how many games they could afford to lose and still be in first place. But what we got next? AFC
That
South.
is a fact. That is a fact. AFC South. I don't think we'll be too long on this division, but I got the Texans winning. I think at
I
least.
think we got the same order.
Yeah. Another division me and Bink agree on. I think the Texans can win this division at 10-7. Um, I just hope that CJ Stroud can stay healthy and not get killed. Um, Second place, I got the Jaguar. I think they'll be improved. Trevor Lawrence. If Mac Jones can do really well with Brian Thomas Jr., I think Trevor Lawrence can do great. And I'm still waiting on him to live up to that hype that he had being compared to Andrew Luck and John Elway. But I do like their coach. I think they'll be. I think their offense is going to be really good. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be explosive. Actually, you got Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, Travis Hunter. We'll see what he does. I think the offense is going to be good. And I think the defense is going to be solid. It's going to do. It's going to do enough to win. You still got Josh Hines Allen. You got
Trayvon,
yeah, Trayvon Walker.
Eric Armstead,
Yeah, you got Eric Armstead in the middle. Um,
Tyson Campbell back in.
Yeah, no, they're still cool. Like the defense is cool. I think they'll be second place. Third, I got the Colts. Um, I just don't know. I just don't know, man. Free Anthony Richardson because I don't think he's bad, but I do think he was unserious for taking himself out that game, and I do think the Colts have failed him, and Shane Steichen in particular has failed him as a play caller. Obviously, with the not running enough RPOs and stuff like that, just stuff that tailors to him. But hopefully, he can make some strides, and I think we might see him this year too. And then last, I got the
We're going to
Titans.
see.
Yeah,
Whether it's a Daniel Jones gets benched thing or Daniel Jones gets hurt thing, we're gonna see him eventually. But the problem with this team is both their quarterbacks are made of glass. And there's a saying that my dad used to say, rest in peace to him. If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. And that's how I feel about the Colts right now.
that's real. Last place, I got the Tennessee Titans. This team, they don't really have a lot of expectations. You got Cam Ward. They had number one pick for a reason, so this team's
I
not
think their
good.
defense can be sneaky good though.
Yeah, no, defense has always had the sneaky talent. Guys like Jeffrey Simmons out there. Um, they had L'Jarius Sneed.
They
Um,
added Devontae Sweat from the draft last year from Texas. That's a really good run stopper.
yeah, so
Really good.
Titans they'll be a cool out. Because I think they had opportunities last year, but they had Will Levis out there. But they'll
Brian
be
Callahan's getting fired after this year, by the way.
damn. Well, you heard it here first. But yeah, I got
He's
the
despite Will Levis, he was still horrible last year.
yeah. But yeah, that's my order. Bink got me and Bink got the same order. Bink, you got any final thoughts before we move on to AFC?
I'm extremely high on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I feel like it's a team I come on this preview show and say I'm extremely high on every year. Well, I guess I used to not say I was extremely high on them because I told y'all to watch out for Seattle and New York, and they made the playoffs. And felt like it was a team the year after that. But I know last year I told you to watch out for the Titans, and you shouldn't have watched out for them. You ain't need to at all. But I'm extremely high on the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, and it's not even a Trevor Lawrence thing. It's a Brian Thomas Jr. thing. That's one of my guys, man. Like I really think he's that good. I think he could contend for Offensive Player of the Year this year. I don't know if it's necessarily win it. I think the defense has nowhere to go but up. And if you look at the two last years, Trevor Lawrence was healthy. 10 wins, 9 wins. Why can't they get 10 wins this year? Especially with Liam Cohen, who I think we both believe in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely believe in them. Let's move on to the AFC East. I got the Bills winning this division. They're the class of the division. Josh Allen, reigning MVP. MVP in quotes. But still a hell of a player, still a baller. This team is like the Eagles and like the Ravens. They have continuity. You know what I'm saying? Sean McDermott's been there for quite some time now. They're just a good team. They're just a good ball club. I know what I'm going to get from them week in and week out. Second place, I got the Patriots. Big fan of Mike Vrabel. Big fan of Drake May. I think Stephon Diggs is going to go back to 1,000 yards. I like what they did this offseason in the draft. They selected Will Campbell. Also addressed the trenches on both sides of the football, offensive line and defensive line. So I think the Patriots are going to be good, and they're going to run the football too. Got Travion Henderson. Still got Ramondre Stevenson back there. They're going to be good. They also drafted Kyle Williams. Yep. Kyle Williams, right. Yeah, they got him. And then, on the defensive side of the ball, they got one of the best corners in all of pro football, Christian Gonzalez.
Added Milton Williams.
Milton Williams as well. Yeah, I really like the Patriots. But more so, really like, for a team to be successful, quarterback and head coach you have to get right. And I think Mike Vrabel is an excellent coach. I truly believe that. And I think Drake May, Mike Vrabel was getting to the playoffs obviously had Derrick Henry, but Ryan Tannehill was his quarterback. Mike Vrabel wishes that Ryan Tannehill was as good as Drake May. And now I think Drake May is what people thought Ryan Tannehill was going to be coming out. Like, that's what I believe. But shout out to Drake May. Shout out to Surgeon. Third place, fourth place. I can see these going any different order. Dolphins, Jets. Just for sake of predictions, I'm got Dolphins in third and Jets in fourth. But I think Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel is going to get fired after this year. And I do think Tyreek Hill, this will be his last year on the Dolphins. I know you got that. What'd you say?
Might be his last 6 games on the Dolphins.
Hey, that's real. But I know you got the same 2 teams, first and second as me. But
I'm not going to.
It's kind of similar.
I ain't going to talk too much about the Patriots. People going to say I'm glazing. That's what they've been saying on TikTok all offseason. So we're going to leave it at that. I have the Jets over the Dolphins. I think the Jets can have like a top 10 in the league run game with Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Justin Fields back there. They have a nice young offensive line. Added Mimbu and Olufashanu through the draft the last 2 years. Already have AVT in the middle. I think their offensive line can be solid. Now, do I trust their pass game at all? No, I don't. And then defensively, well, we're not going to talk about the Jets defense, but that's Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, Quincy Williams. We already know what's going on right there. Playmaker at all 3 levels. And last place, I do have the Miami Dolphins. I just think it's it, man. And especially when you talk about Tua, you can't talk about the Dolphins and expect to get a full 17 games out of Tua. And I feel like that's one of the biggest downfalls of this team. And who's the backup quarterback right now? Because it's not Zach Wilson no more. Who is their backup quarterback? Is it Quinn Ewers?
I saw him in preseason, so it might be him.
They have to have a guy over him. It can't be Quinn Ewers. But yeah, you're already starting the year with Devon Achane getting the calf strain. Don't know if he'll be a full go for week 1. It's just, and then you look at their defense, and I'll talk about injuries a lot with this team because they all do it. Bradley Chubb is constantly hurt. Jalen Phillips constantly out of the lineup. And those are two of my guys. Like, I wish the Dolphins defense was good. Kader Kohu, their number one corner, got hurt and out for the year. It's just too much turmoil with this team for me to pick them anything other than fourth. So last division we got is AFC West, right?
Yeah, I'm picking Dolphins to be last. I'm done. I've been convinced. But yeah,
I'll start with the AFC West.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I think we have the same order for this. Chiefs at one. They're inevitable. I don't want to talk about them no more. I'm tired of talking about them. I think Mike's tired of talking about them other than Patrick LaVon Mahomes the second. But other than that, he about to grab the jersey. Oh, the Chiefs hat. But yeah, other than that, I'm tired of talking about them. We already know what we're gonna get. I have the Broncos at two. I have them making the playoffs. I think they're one of the most improved teams in the NFL this year, and it's crazy because we're talking about the number one defense in football getting better with Jadae Barron, who's my guy in the draft. You talk about Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, who they got. I think their defense is going to be really good again. They have no reason not to be. In third place, I have the Chargers. I think the loss of Rashawn Slater actually hurts them. I feel like nobody's really talking about that. You got Joe
Well,
Alt moving left tackle now, so I mean that should be solid. Kenny actually picked Joe Alt to win Protector of the Year because of the Rashawn Slater injury. I say, hey, I can see it, but in last place, I have the Raiders, and the Raiders are a team I want to be good so bad because I love Pete Carroll, I love Ashton Genty, I love Geno Smith, but I look at the rest of the roster and it's just kind of like stars and scrubs right there, and it's like I can't pick them to beat. Like you telling me this Raiders team is about to like in order to be second or third in this division, they're gonna have to go into Denver, beat Denver, go into LA, beat the Chargers, go into Kansas City, beat Kansas City. At least two of those. That's not happening.
yeah, no, you're right. This Chiefs hat just gave me a little bit of energy after this long day I've had, ladies and gentlemen. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Um, at the time of recording, it's 11:40 p.m., but it's okay. I'm still here. Um, Chiefs first place in the division. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. This is. I said this last week. I said it's like picking against Brady and Belichick, man. They're gonna win a division every year. Um, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Patrick LaVon Mahomes second, man. He the greatest. Second place, I got the Broncos. Shout out to Sean Payton. Think he's an excellent coach, one of the best coaches in the league. This division has a slew of great coaches. Like, look no further than this division if you want to talk about the coaches. But I got the Broncos second place. The defense is just too gangster. I'm not a big Bo Nix guy, but he's good enough, man. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He runs the offense. He do what he do. He does what needs to be done. They got R.J. Harvey in the draft. I think that's a good pickup. Like I said, defense is nasty. You add Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga to it, make it even better. Broncos second place will be a playoff team. Third place is going to be the Chargers. Like Bink said, Slater injury is big, but they have enough talent to still be competitive. You got Ladd McConkey, you got Quentin Johnston, who I'm not high on, but they also re-signed Keenan Allen, who's one of the best receivers in Chargers history. They're still cool. Like they're still a good team. Obviously coached by Jim Harbaugh. I expect this team to still be good. I expect to see some nice flashes from Marion Hampton. Last place got the Raiders. Like Bink said, just not enough talent. But if they continue to hit on their draft picks, like I think Genty will be a hit. I think he'll be an Offensive Rookie of the Year. They got Brock Bowers, who was great, and you could argue should have been Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. They continue to hit on those picks, and they got Bink, got Geno, but outside of those three players, and I'm hearing they got this young wide receiver, the 6'5" guy. I forgot his name.
Dante Thornton.
I'm hearing he could be good, but we just have to see. But I would love to see them be competitive, though, and I think they will be in some spots. But that is all for record predictions and breakdowns from both divisions. We're going to introduce a new segment.
Quick. Super Bowl prediction right now. Who you got?
Damn.
I've been thinking about this for a while because I'm going to post it on TikTok tomorrow, right before the season starts. You want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Representing the AFC. It pains me to pick against the Chiefs because I've been picking the Chiefs for years now. And
I got mine. I got mine.
But I have Baltimore finally breaking through. I think Baltimore is going to represent the Super Bowl in the AFC. In the NFC, like I said, it's against my religion to talk too good about Philly. I got the Packers representing the AFC, and it might be against my religion to talk about the Packers too. I might have to add that one to the list. But I got Packers and Ravens in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna take Baltimore to win this year. I haven't done this. I haven't went a little bit out of the box in a minute. It's normally Chiefs versus whatever team's a favorite from the other side.
I got mine. I do have Baltimore. I got Ravens Rams. A Super Bowl where Mike Curry can root for a team again. I feel like a team I like being in the Super Bowl every year, man. Bink always make fun of me saying I got too many teams.
I mean, when you have basically half the league on your side,
That's not true. Simply not true. You know, maybe if you would get more teams, you wouldn't be so disappointed every year.
I mean, I have players, so I by virtue have teams.
Facts, for sure. But before we get up out of here, I want to introduce a brand new segment this year. Shout out to my guy Brandon, man. He gave me this idea and said we should bring a betting segment. And, you know, I do pretty good on some bets, man. Shout out Andy Up Consulting. Been a contributor with those guys for a few years now and giving out my own plays. I actually been doing that, you know, on and off for a few years now. But we're going to introduce a new segment, and it's going to be What's Your Best Bet? That's what I'm going to call it, What's Your Best Bet? So for this week's best bet, I'm going with, and we're going to give out one each show. So, you know, we have a Thursday and a Friday game this week. So I picked one from each. I picked one bet between the two games. I just picked one, and Bink has one as well. And then on Sunday, for the Sunday-Monday slate, we'll give out a best bet. And, yeah, we'll come back and we'll recap those and see how we did. We'll track those all season long. But my first bet of the 2025 season, I'm going with Dak Prescott over 248.5 passing yards. You can get that at DraftKings, and you can also get that at a couple other shops. But I like Dak. I think the Cowboys won't be able to run the football. This will be a theme all season long. But they do have, you know, two really good receivers that can win. Also got Jake Ferguson, who I think will have a bounce back year. But I think for the Cowboys to be in this game, they're going to have to pass the ball. And even if they're down, they're still going to have to pass the ball. Down late, still going to have to pass it. But you asking me, can Dak give me 250? Absolutely he can. Because CeeDee's going to have 100 of those. So,
George is also going to have 100.
Huh?
So George is also going to have 100. Their cornerback, too, right now on the outside is Adoree Jackson. I like my chances.
Yeah, so, I mean, you mean to tell me I just need Jake Ferguson and who else you guys got? Maybe a running back. Yeah, so I like my chances here, man. I'm going Dak over 248.5. Bink, what you got?
My best bet is about the other game, Chiefs Chargers. I have the under. The under right now is set at 46.5. That's the one I'm seeing. And the reason I have this, last year they played twice. Both these games went under this total. One game was 17-10. The other one was 19-17. But the main reason I'm having this is because we have a Greg Roman offense going up against a Matt Nagy offense this week. I'm going to leave it at that.
What's wrong with Matt Nagy?
There's a reason why Mahomes touchdowns have been down the last 2 years, now that Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator. And there's a reason why Andy Reid said he's going to be taking more play calling duties back this year.
So shouldn't you take the over?
Nah, because I don't think it's just gonna happen week one. I mean, I feel like we see the switch in the playoffs. I feel like they can coast through the regular season.
True, that's real. But if you don't have any more final thoughts, man, we can sign up out of here, man. Season preview is back. I know I say this every single time, man, but we will be back with episodes, man. Big know what we got cooking up this week on Friday. In particularly, man, but I want to thank everybody for listening, man. Go check out Jack Podcast, man, on YouTube, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever it's your podcast, man. Go check it out. Obviously, you can check me out on the same platform. Number 234 is done. Peace.